Welcome to Hospitality Insider on Koni TV with your host, Koni Kim. Hospitality Insider is an intimate look of the who's who in the hospitality industry. Up close and personal, you'll meet amazing leaders and discover their stories of successes and challenges that will inspire, educate, and entertain. With your help, we unite, we co-create, and we support each other to create better service in the hospitality industry and contribute to the world. Hospitality Insider, your window to hospitality excellence.
Welcome to another episode of Hospitality Insider on Koni TV. Today, our distinguished guest is Lee Pillsbury, CEO of Thayer Lodging Group and co-founder of the Lodging Group. So, Lee, thank you so much for joining us today. And I've been reading about you, and it's just like, I said, how can one person can accomplish all you have accomplished in this industry? And so share with us a little bit about how you got started and where you are today.
Well, Connie, thank you. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm honored. And I actually got into this business when I was 14. I was a soda jerk at a Howard Johnson's.
Wow.
And my wife likes to say that I'm no longer involved with the soda. So I grew up the son of a construction worker. I'm the first in my family to go to college. And I had the great opportunity to go to Cornell and the hotel school there.
Yes.
And when I graduated, I joined a very small company called Marriott Hop Shops, a restaurant company that had 3 motor hotels. And of course, what Bill Marriott has done with the company over these many years is just extraordinary. I had the good fortune to be there during a very high period of growth. And in the 20 years that I was there, we went from 6 hotels to about 800.
Wow.
So it was a matter of being, in the right place at the right time as much as anything else. And the company grew faster than I did,
Yes.
and I was constantly being pushed into jobs that I wasn't quite ready for, and hadn't mastered the job I was leaving. And so you learn quickly to rely on other people to help you.
Right, you were in Marriott for 20 years, right?
Yes, I was.
And I understand you were the youngest executive vice president at 36 years old?
I think it was 36, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
And so from there you organized, found the Thayer Lodging in 1991?
Correct.
So,
Correct, yes.
so from that point, when you created this Thayer Lodging, what did you have in mind?
Well, during the 1980s, when I was executive vice president at Marriott, I had the great good fortune to launch Fairfield Inns, to acquire the Residence Inn company,
Right.
to take the company into time sharing.
Right.
And in the early 1990s, in the middle of the savings and loan crisis, a lot of the several hundred hotels that I had built or developed
Right.
were selling for 50 cents on the dollar because of the savings and loan collapse.
Yeah, that issue, right.
And so with a partner, former president of Marriott, Fred Malik, the two of us came together and said, geez, these hotels that we built, that we developed, that we believe in, are now for sale cheap. And so we launched our first private equity fund to go out and acquire what we believed were undervalued hotels,
Right.
and focus on improving their operating results. And over the 25 years that we've been in business, we have seen a 26% annual return to our investors.
Great.
And more than 2/3 of the hotels that we have bought, we've been able to double the net operating income in less than 3 or 4 years.
Well, you say it is maybe a luck, but there has to be your brain that knows something that nobody else knows to make that kind of a success. What is that secret?
I think it's passion. I think it's a belief that you can in yourself, a belief in your vision,
Right.
And certainly having a strong vision, having a clear vision for how you're going to make a business successful, and then enrolling other people in that vision, sharing your passion,
Yes.
and engaging them with their passion, their views, and I think one thing that I have learned since leaving Marriott is to become a very good partner, and I have literally dozens and dozens of partners,
Yes.
and that's my great good fortune, is that I am surrounded with and partnered with just
Wonderful
terrific people.
Yeah, that is really the key of success. You know, nobody can do it by themselves. You talk about a lot of people to mentor you, even in the Marriott days.
Absolutely.
And the Kellogg School of Management that you also mention a lot. So tell us a little bit about Kellogg School of Management.
Well, learning and education is a lifelong undertaking.
Right.
You know, and they say today, for example, that a graduate of a top engineering school in the United States, 25% of what they've learned is obsolete the day they graduate.
You're right.
You know, and things are changing that quickly. So it's a matter of lifelong learning, right? It's a matter of recognizing the importance of that, recognizing that there's many ways to learn.
Yes.
But one of the things that you have to do is you have to go back to that formal education. You have to go back to the institutions that are creating knowledge.
Yes.
Spend time there and absorb it and learn the new aspects of your business.
Yes. So now, how to find those magic partners or magic people you talk about in a lot of your speeches?
I have 3 observations about people.
Okay.
Number 1, everybody wants to be part of something bigger than themselves.
Wonderful.
They want to make a difference.
Yes.
You know? So they want to be part of something big, and they want to make a difference.
Right.
And the third point is they want to be acknowledged for making a difference.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think we're all alike in that regard.
That's right. Yeah,
You know,
no difference.
every one of us is alike.
That's right.
And so the challenge for me as I try to build my partnerships, right, is to do that, and particularly acknowledge people. I don't do it enough. You know, I never do it enough.
Oh yes.
And but that's the key, is to recognize that we all share that in common.
Yes.
We all want the same things.
That's right.
It's not complicated.
That's right. So when we come back, we're going to find out what his challenges and how he's been handling his challenges. And so don't go away.
We've seen this scene before. It almost feels like
A date? We haven't been on one of these for...
3 years.
I know, this just snuck up on us.
And the kids are cool with it.
Complimentary drinks and snacks for 2 hours every night.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Welcome to Hospitality Insider on Koni TV with your host, Koni Kim. Hospitality Insider is an intimate look of the who's who in the hospitality industry. Up close and personal, you'll meet amazing leaders and discover their stories of successes and challenges that will inspire, educate, and entertain. With your help, we unite. We co-create. Hospitality Insider, your window to hospitality excellence. Finally, a hospitality event that produces business, not just leads. Vitak's winning formula is connecting top lodging executives with top suppliers. This customized relationship building is why hospitality leaders have rated Vitak the #1 most productive and cost-effective event in the industry. Industry executives choose Vitak to be the platform to make the deals to grow their business because it works. At Vitak, you'll receive 18 to 22 one-on-one personalized meetings with pre-qualified decision makers who have a need for your specific products and services. 20 to 30 additional impromptu meetings. All-inclusive gourmet food and beverage hosted at 5-star event locations all over the U.S. Vitak sells out faster than any other event in the industry. Experience Vitak once, and you won't want to miss another.
Welcome back to Hospitality Insider with Lee Pillsbury, CEO of Thayer Lodging Group. Thank you so much for sharing for your insights. And now share with us, what has been your biggest challenge getting where you are now?
Well,
Many of them, but
I think I'm my own biggest obstacle.
Yeah.
Right? You know, so I think it honestly, it's keeping up with the extraordinarily rapid pace of change and what appears to be a very mature industry, but really isn't.
yes, you're right. Absolutely right. Yeah. So when you say that rapidly changing industry, that that you shocked the whole industry joining with this Chinese Xinjiang company and buying this interstate, that's one of the largest management company in here. And so tell us a little bit process of how did you do that? What inspired for you to make that joint venture?
So in 1997, I hired a young man from Shanghai who was a Cornell Hotel School graduate, and he worked in our company for 7 years,
Right.
during which time we sent him to Wharton for his MBA. At the end of which time he invited my wife and I to come to China, meet his family, and have a vacation. We spent 3 weeks traveling China, meeting the hotel leadership, the government, provincial government, and central government leaders in business all across China. Had an extraordinary time. And as we looked at the industry in China, we saw the complete absence of distribution systems. At that time, if you were in Shanghai and you wanted a room in Beijing, you'd call a travel agent in Shanghai who would send a fax to a travel agent in Beijing, and then someone would get on a bicycle and go to the hotel and park the bicycle on the front door of the hotel, go into the lobby to the reservations office and say, "Can we have a reservation here for Koni?" And then they would bicycle back, fax back to the agent in Shanghai, who would then send you a text on your phone, and it was all very high tech.
That's very high tech. What was that? What year was that?
That was 2004.
Oh my goodness!
Not that
it's
long
10
ago.
Years ago.
Not that long ago. There were a number of international hotel companies there. Their reservation systems didn't run in Mandarin.
Oh my!
And interestingly enough, the Chinese speak Chinese.
Yeah, of course you speak Mandarin, so
Actually, I don't. But I was smart enough to figure out that that you needed a reservation system that would run in Mandarin.
right.
So we built the first cloud-based Mandarin language central reservations and global distribution
Wow,
system
did you
in
really?
China. And to do that, we partnered with what was then China's largest hotel company, still is, the Xinjiang Group, and headquartered in Shanghai.
Right.
The chairman, Chairman Yu, became a very, very good friend of mine. And in China, you do business with your friends.
That's right.
Right? And you become friends first. And then you do business. We started out together with this little small enterprise that now serves over 12,000 hotels across China. And in 2009, when I was there on a visit to discuss that business, I asked Chairman Yu if he would like to join us in the acquisition of Interstate Hotels and Resorts. And he immediately said that he would. They committed capital within 30 days. It was extraordinarily fast commitment
that's it,
by the
isn't it?
Chinese government to do this.
Incredible.
And then in the spring of 2010, we completed the acquisition of the company.
Yeah.
Since then, we launched the first ever international executive development program between the Chinese government and a private U.S. firm. And we've brought 25 mid-career Chinese executives to the United States, to Interstate and to Thayer, every year for 4 to 6 months of executive development, and taken them to Cornell for several weeks of formal classroom training. And so that has resulted in a cadre of mid-level, mid-career executives in the Chinese lodging business who know us, who know Thayer, who know Interstate, with whom we have very close personal relationships with.
So you really, really made a difference in an international hospitality industry. There's no such thing ever was before.
That's right.
So why it's Interstate?
Well, Interstate at the time was a very successful, although over-leveraged, third-party manager. I had gotten to know the original founders of Interstate back in my days at Marriott, as they were one of Marriott's most important franchisees. And I held Tom Hewitt, who was the chairman of the company, in very high regard. And we had the opportunity I had the opportunity to sit down with Tom and talk about how we could recapitalize his company that would make it more effective and better able to compete and better able to grow. So when we bought the company in 2010, it was managing 185 hotels. And now this year it's managing over 450.
450, 80,000 rooms.
Yeah.
Yes,
33,000 employees. We now have operating platforms in Russia, in Europe, in the UK, in India and China. So they've done very well, and our Chinese partners have been just terrific partners, and we're great supporters of one another.
Yeah, congratulations! That is amazing achievement. To not only just for interstate or Thayer, it is just the whole industry.
It is.
The whole international industry.
And we're going to build on that this year. When I was in Shanghai in August, I met with the vice mayor in charge of education and health. And she has asked me to encourage Cornell to come there and build a campus. We've decided that's not the right thing for Cornell to do right now, but what we have discussed and what we're about to finalize an agreement on is to bring a cohort of Chinese academics to America and embed them in Cornell for some period of time, several years, to help them develop their research capabilities, their teaching capabilities at the very highest levels of an American research university, so that when they go back to China, they'll be able to take leadership positions in the Chinese academic community. And the Shanghai government is showing great foresight in this and making a major commitment. And we're very excited to be part of that.
Oh yes, but that is, I mean, Chinese is building so much hotels and so many places now, and then you'll have a totally integrated international standards that they can adopt.
That's right.
That is wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful.
China may build 5 million new hotel rooms in the next 15 or 20 years.
Hold that thought. When we come back, we'll learn about Shanghai Tower J Hotel that he is engaged with. Don't go away.
That doesn't look like mommy, mommy, mommy doesn't have a swagger like that. That doesn't look like mommy, mommy, mommy doesn't have a swagger. That doesn't look like mommy, mommy, mommy doesn't have a swagger like that. That doesn't look like mommy, mommy, mommy doesn't have a swagger like that. That doesn't look like mommy.
Whether you stay 2 days or 2 weeks, Homewood Suites has everything you need to stay in your groove. Homewood Suites by Hilton.
Welcome to Hospitality Insider on Koni TV with your host, Koni Kim. Hospitality Insider is an intimate look of the who's who in the hospitality industry. Up close and personal, you'll meet amazing leaders and discover their stories of successes and challenges that will inspire, educate, and entertain. With your help, we unite. We co-create. Hospitality Insider, your window to hospitality excellence. Finally, a hospitality event that produces business, not just leads. Vitac's winning formula is connecting top lodging executives with top suppliers. This customized relationship building is why hospitality leaders have rated Vitac the #1 most productive and cost-effective event in the industry. Industry executives choose Vitac to be the platform to make the deals to grow their business because it works. At Vitac, you'll receive 18 to 22 one-on-one personalized meetings with pre-qualified decision makers who have a need for your specific products and services. 20 to 30 additional impromptu meetings. All-inclusive gourmet food and beverage hosted at 5-star event locations all over the U.S. Vitac sells out faster than any other event in the industry. Experience Vitac once, and you won't want to miss another.
I am Fausto Jimenez, Vice President for Standards at Grupo Posadas, and you're watching.
You are watching.
And you're watching.
You are watching.
You are watching Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
KoniTV.tv.
Welcome back to Hospitality Insider with Lee Pillsbury, CEO of Thayer Lodging Group. Thank you so much for sharing with all wonderful stories. Now share with us a little bit about this Shanghai Tower that I see all over the newspaper.
Very interesting project.
Yes.
Several years ago, the Shanghai provincial government made a decision to build the second tallest building in the world in the Pudong district of Shanghai. The state-owned enterprise responsible for the construction was considering a number of different brands for a hotel,
Right.
the lobby of which will be on the 101st floor.
Yes, it's incredible. Yes.
And when I had the opportunity to meet with the chairman of that company, we talked about the importance of a Chinese brand on a Chinese iconic building.
Right.
And and yet we recognized that China did not have its own
Brand.
luxury
Right.
6-star brand.
Right.
So with Jinjiang and with the help of the provincial government, we've committed to develop what will be the first J Hotel, which will be China's first domestic luxury brand hotel. And the hotel opened in early 2016. As I mentioned, the lobby on the 101st floor, it's a 122-story building.
Right.
And the building is topped out. It's designed by a firm here in the United States, Gensler Architects out of Miami.
Yeah, wonderful company. Yes.
Very, very good, very,
Yes.
very extraordinary design.
Right.
And Wilson is doing the interiors on it.
Okay.
And it's going to be a very, very exciting property. And the goal is to show both modern China and also the Chinese culture.
Right.
And it's a very, very interesting design development project to think about how to capture those
Both
elements
sides of the world.
in a way that is still relevant for luxury travelers from around the world.
Yeah, that is really most exciting project. But now I want to change the subject a little bit. I know you have an incredible passion for Cornell University, and I understand your wife Mary and you has donated $15 million for their school, and that is just so heartwarming. So your dedication to education. So please share with us all your giving back and where it creates.
So, two things I would tell you.
Yeah.
I mentioned at the beginning that I'm the first in my family to go to college.
Wow.
And I couldn't have gone except for the scholarships and financial aid. And I was very, very fortunate that there were people who had come ahead of me,
Yes.
who had established scholarships and funded jobs and all that I was able to work my way through Cornell University. So when I left Cornell, I left with a big debt to those people. I also owed a big debt to the industry leaders who would come to Cornell and speak in the classes. And I remember them very clearly. Their pictures their faces are still in my mind.
Yes.
And the impact that they had on me as a student. So as I have gone through my career, I have looked for opportunities to pay that back in scholarships and in internships and various other things. The particular gift you alluded to, the Pillsbury Institute for Hospitality Entrepreneurship,
Right.
our goal there is to foster entrepreneurship in our industry and to help students realize their goals of being able to build, run, operate their own business,
Yes.
as you've done,
Yes.
as I've done. So that's a big part of it. I have served at Cornell as a Rhodes Visiting Scholar for a number of years, and I lecture across all of the 7 undergraduate colleges,
Oh, wow.
as well as the 2 graduate schools.
How great.
And I was this fall the Conti Visiting Professor at Penn State, and I also lecture frequently at FIU and various other schools here, as well as in China and Singapore. And so I think that the most important legacy that I can leave are those
Yes.
young people in that next generation.
Wow.
And so to the extent that I can help them, to the extent that I can influence them, to the extent that I can help them see opportunities for themselves, that's where the real reward is.
That's so inspiring and so overwhelming, and all the things you achieved in the industry. Is there anything else that's left for you to?
I'm just beginning.
What is the vision?
I'm just beginning.
You have just begun.
I've just begun. now one of the areas that I'm most focused on is innovation, and particularly in our industry. And this is things haven't changed much since Mary and Joseph were turned away at the inn, you know, when Christ was born.
Yes, yes.
It's still the same business.
Yes.
Right? But yet it really isn't. And if you look back at the history of our business, now the pace of change is faster than it's ever been.
Right.
The distribution channels and marketing channels, of course, were badly disrupted by the internet. And in fact, we built one of the first internet marketing companies in the hospitality space that ultimately served over 1,500, 2,000 hotels several years ago. But today, that pace of change is even faster.
Yes.
And we were talking earlier about geniuses in the garages, right? and bright young people thinking about this business. It's an enormous business with an enormous amount of money spent on it.
That's right.
And as such, it is a ripe target for innovation. So through our venture fund, through Thayer Ventures, we have invested in 19 different early stage companies that are active in the travel and hospitality space, and working with their founders and their CEOs to help them grow and develop. And we think that that's going to exert major influence on all aspects of our business.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Now, I would love to have you live a word of wisdom. A lot of people are very inspired exactly what you have accomplished. And what is the wisdom that you can give it?
I think two things. I mentioned passion.
Yes.
Right? And you have to be passionate about everything you do, and if you aren't passionate about it, you shouldn't do it.
Right.
You know, if you aren't going to throw yourself into it 100%, then don't throw yourself into it at all.
That's right.
Right? So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say is be inquisitive. You know, spend more time asking questions and answering questions.
Yes, that is fantastic. Well, thank you so much for all the wisdom and passion and all the great talents that you have given to this hotel industry. And thank you so much, and I'd love to have you back.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank
it was
you.
a pleasure, and I really enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching Hospitality Insider with Lee Pillsbury, CEO of Thayer Lodging Group. If you'd like to know current and other episodes, please go to konitv.tv.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Cinders, Senior Vice President for Government Affairs at American Hotel and Lodging Association, and you're watching...
And you're watching...
And you're watching...
And you're watching...
You're watching Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
KoniTV.tv. Koni TV is the hospitality TV company, and we're very excited to be part of Koni TV.
Over 60 years ago, we set out to bring the joy of travel to a few families. Make it friendly, memorable, and fun. We ended up bringing the world together. Sounds simple now, but that little idea changed the way millions of people travel. By changing the way that people see what a hotel can be. Whether it's work or play, what brings people to Holiday Inn changes every day. And we change too, to keep you comfortable, connected, and coming back. Because each day brings new ways to show you everything we can be. Holiday Inn, change your view.
Finally, a hospitality event that produces business, not just leads. Vitac's winning formula is connecting top lodging executives with top suppliers. This customized relationship building is why hospitality leaders have rated Vitac the #1 most productive and cost-effective event in the industry. Industry executives choose Vitac to be the platform to make the deals to grow their business because it works. At Vitac, you'll receive 18 to 22 one-on-one personalized meetings with pre-qualified decision makers who have a need for your specific products and services. 20 to 30 additional impromptu meetings, all-inclusive gourmet food and beverage hosted at 5-star event locations all over the U.S. BITAC sells out faster than any other event in the industry. Experience BITAC once, and you won't want to miss another. Welcome to Hospitality Insider on Koni TV with your host, Koni Kim. Hospitality Insider is an intimate look of the who's who in the hospitality industry. Up close and personal, you'll meet amazing leaders and discover their stories of successes and challenges that will inspire, educate, and entertain. With your help, we unite, we co-create, and we support each other to create better service in the hospitality industry and contribute to the world. Hospitality Insider, your window to hospitality excellence.